Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today in our program Positive Atheism, which is written by Gora, an atheist. We are in the chapter Atheistic Philosophy, and today I shall read from where I have left in the last episode. As Satyagraha asserts the freedom of the individual to know and to insist upon truthfulness, it is atheistic in principle. It could have been the starting point for the atheistic movement in the modern age. But Gandhi, its proponent, clothed the explanations in the language of theism. The language of theism, which was familiar to the people, gave him the advantage of easy communication with the people. But after Gandhi, people reverted to the theistic ways contained in the language and paid mere formal allegiance to the principles of truth, equality, openness, and non-violence. The experience reveals the need of a avowed atheism for stable progress. Gandhian Satyagraha requires atheistic correction for its abiding usefulness. Existentialist philosophy recognizes the existence of the individual as the real purpose of human life. The recognition is basically atheistic, and it encourages the individual to free himself from the impositions of custom, governmental authority, economic pressures, and cultural inhibitions. Undoubtedly, existentialist philosophy has produced free and truthful individuals, but they are not Satyagrahis. They lack the social outlook. The love of individual freedom has stood in the way of the appreciation of social obligations, as in the case of hippies and Beatles. They live as birds, hopping from branch to branch, pecking at fruits and warbling notes at their will. Existentialism is a powerful protest against the oppressions by spiritual and materialistic systems. But it has been lopsided in its development. It lacks the social complement. Without social association, no one can go far in the efforts of food supply, communications, and security. In this way, they draw from social resources, but they do not add to them. In spite of their limitations, materialism, Gandhism, and existentialism have advanced civilization towards atheism. Though fundamentally theistic, materialism demolished Godhead and visionary idealism. It has brought systems of life within the grips of realistic appraisal. Gandhian way of Satyagraha has presented a real instrument to fight against injustices. As everyone can take to Satyagraha, it has become the special friends of the downtrodden. Existentialism has brought to the forefront the importance of the individual. His existence is of primary significance. Yet, materialism, Gandhism, and existentialism have not brought about all-round equality, as they have not avowedly accepted atheism with all its implications. They compromised with extant theistic systems and were partially atheistic. So they established equality partially and gave scope for reaction to set in later. Marxian materialism largely established economic equality but required political dictatorship for the purpose. Gandhism was democratic but could not fight capitalism successfully. Existentialism attained personal freedom without social change. Every one of those methods require atheistic correction for achieving all-round equality and progress. Where atheism is not adopted wholly, even scientists are not free of superstition. Sir Oliver Lodge, who gave a powerful impulse to scientific education and was the forerunner of wireless telegraphy through researches in electromagnetic waves, believed in telepathy and thought transference, a claim in which he could not carry with him the majority of men distinguished in science. Astronauts who could land in moon as a result of amazing advances in technology and prayed to God for the success of their project. Several savants are known to be eminently scientific in laboratories but conventionally superstitious in their personal life. Some of them use charms, omens, and amulets, repose belief in miracles, and attend to prayers in obedience to custom. Obviously, such scientists do not have the scientific mind. So, dishonest thieves and greedy politicians easily use their talents for prosecuting wars and establishing dictatorships. Science is essentially atheistic, but without the avowed adoption of atheism, scientific progress is liable to be misused. Atheistic awakening is the greatest need of the peoples of ancient civilizations of Asia and Africa and aborigines all over the world. In Europe, there have been a series of cultural revolutions due to the spread of Christianity, Protestantism, materialism, and existentialism. Each sweep was heretic in its own age. The revolutions have wiped away, stage by stage, the primitive faiths of Celts, Gauls, and Druids. Europeans are virtually secular now. They go to church partly for social contacts and mostly to spread theistic faith among the Asians and Africans in order to make them an easy prey to colonial expansion. In the Middle East too, the spread of Islam abolished the superstitions of the idolatrous Arabs. If Buddhism stayed in India, it would have advanced Hindus beyond the beliefs of primitive animism. But Shankara, in order to fight the corruption of Buddhism, revived Hindu faith and set the hands of the clock back. The Buddhists of the Far East are more open-minded than the Hindus of India. But for the awakening brought about by the spread of Christianity and Islam, the Africans would have continued in the ancient ways of tribalism with totems and taboos. The seclusion of aborigines in wild and reserves keeps them primitive still. They live equal within the narrow confines of their respective tribes, not progressively, but conservatively. The rise of Marxian materialism in Russia and particularly in China has demonstrated that revolution in outlook brings about revolution in the ways of life. China was addicted to opium and was a miserable victim to European and Japanese exploitation. Today, it is asserting itself as a world power on account of the cultural revolution. Idolatrous and caste-ridden Hindus of India won high esteem when they participated in the movements of Satyagraha. The feeling of freedom made people more scientific and progressive. The materialistic Europeans and Americans can exploit the Asians and Africans as long as the latter remain godly and servile. Exploitation of any kind anywhere will end when slave mind is discredited and the freedom of the individuals is asserted. Slave makes tyrants of their brothers. When slaves stand on their feet, they find themselves as tall as their masters. Others mount when slaves stoop. So, the widespread adoption of atheistic philosophy is the way to put down the slave mind and to establish all-round equality by the full expression of the freedom of the individual in Asia and Africa also. The appreciation of freedom of the individual gives a fresh orientation to the systems of life, ethical, political, economic, aesthetic, and technological. Customs and governments no longer dominate over man. He becomes their master. And here ends our chapter, Atheistic Philosophy, and we shall continue in the another chapter, Atheistic Ethics, in the next episode. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram channels, which has crossed more than 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.